Our conditions still bullish in this bull market. We're seeing the bull market rank of 25.96. We are seeing a few concerning things that are starting to happen here as well, though. We'll discuss a couple of those ideas. We're seeing a momentum pulling back into this range bound zone, just hovering right on the edge right there. Also continuing to see breadth strong, but also retracing some at these levels, and sentiment continuing to pull back. You're starting to see that divergence, significant divergence, starting to happen here in sentiment. Again, that is increase in volatility, increase in fear in the market. We're seeing buy-sell ratio starting to get a little internal confirmation of that, where we're sitting right at 1.07, so essentially sitting right at par right now, with bears gaining some momentum this direction and bulls losing some momentum this direction. And also seeing that here in sentiment, starting to see that retrace on S&P 500. One of the things to be aware of right here as we take a look at these market indices, let's look at S&P 500, because we did see a bit of a retracement pulling back here and some support after this down day that we had 2 days ago, but we're also seeing an increase in volatility right here in the last couple of days, moving higher, and we're also seeing bonds starting to pull back here as well. TLT, the long-term bonds, starting to move lower. Remember, what we want to see in bonds is we want to continue to see bonds moving higher. As bonds start to move lower, that means interest rates are starting to climb back up again. And that may be the market concerned about recessionary fears, and that the Fed still is going to have to do more work. SHY, also shorter end of the yield curves, starting to pull back here as well in price, which means bond prices going higher. That's still in momentum above this 236 location, but TLT, the long-term bond, has pulled back underneath that level and also entered into this downtrend location. So some things to be aware of currently with volatility and bond prices. S&P 500, we looked at that chart right here. The NASDAQ 100 finding some support there at the 236, and Dow also finding a little bit of support here. We've got three of those bottoming tail bars. We'll see what kind of continuation we get out of the Dow. If we jump over to sectors and see if we're gaining any strength or not, you can see we're getting a little bit weaker here as well. Okay, we now got half that are starting in short-term downtrends and less to the upside, more and more building, and that essentially looks very similar to that buy-sell ratio chart, where we're just starting to split the market and getting some weakness in individual sectors as well. The ones that are leading, we're seeing, or at least the ones that are in uptrends, we're seeing utilities, basic materials, energy, industrials. Those are very recessionary type of names. Utilities has really been doing well and continuing to climb higher. As that chart loads in here, we can see utilities is a great place to be looking for some stability. At least market participants are starting to see that. We're seeing silver continuing that overall uptrend. We're seeing copper increasing and holding that 31, 32 range. And we're seeing gold continuing its historic run, finding some support right here at these levels. And let's take a look at USO, which is the ETF for oil. Still a little bit of a flat day yesterday, but working on a potential bottoming process here for USO as it's gaining a little bit of momentum and finding some demand down at these lower areas. We look at some of the muscle stocks group to consider, continuing to see a whole bunch of these medical names, medical, biotech, drug stocks. Really, all of those kind of stocks are continuing to perform. We've got one here with not a real solid confirmation bar, but increasing volume in the momentum zone. That's CDNA, and also seeing silver, GATO, and those stocks, those gold and silver stocks, continue to look for those in your screens, because those are areas of the economy that can also be defensive areas as markets may start to retrace here as well. Keep an eye on some of those GATO in the silver market. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.